Hey, what's happening, everybody? What is up? What is up? We are here on a Thursday. Usually I host a Spaces today, but no Spaces. We're going to do a Spaces next week. So if you like Spaces, we'll have a bearish Spaces next week. But I thought I'd hop in. I got some time tonight, and I wanted to mess around with V0 and maybe do some vibe coding tonight. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining. Just a quick update here on the grind bearish builder sprint. We did yesterday. I did a stream kind of talking about project setup. So if you haven't done that yet, go to grind.bearish.af, log in, set up your profile. You can add all your fun stuff to it, skills and whatnot. You can create a team. Once you create a team, that will show up in the projects. From here, you can kind of see that there's been probably about a dozen projects already created for this. You can do this now, or you can wait till you're ready to submit. Submissions will end on Sunday. This is the one that I showed yesterday, which was the Grind the Vote app that I was building. But tonight, not going to do any of that. I'm actually just going to build something from scratch. Not even for the sprint, but just something for fun. I wanted to see if I can do it. Wanted to call out a couple other things in the bearish Discord. I also talked about the testnet token creator. Makes it really simple and easy to deploy a testnet token from the grind.bearish.af website. So you can see that walkthrough here, also in the stream yesterday. That is also available on YouTube. And Scotty created a clonable repo for v0.dev with AGW integration, which is pretty cool. So check it out. You can clone this, use it in your V0 vibe chat. But basically what this does, it has like some setup for integrating Abstract Global Wallet with your Next.js application, including Rainbow Kit, Abstract Global Wallet Connector, WAGMI hooks for wallet interactions, and a responsive design with Tailwind. So basically it tells you what to do, get started. You'll need to set up a Wallet Connect project ID. So that's something that you might want to just do on the Wallet Connect site. Then you can kind of customize the UI. But this basically makes it easy for people to connect. And then there's some ideas here that he created too, which is basically just a bunch of ideas that you can potentially try for your app, your game. Has some different tags here. One of the things that looked interesting to me was a token burn dashboard. That might be interesting. Also a token faucet. That's something that we should probably build for future sprints when we're doing testnet tokens. And yeah, there's some other fun stuff in here. On-chain battleship. Who's going to build that? So go ahead and check that out. It's in the link is in the Discord, under the resources section for the builders, and then also check into the builders chat. All right. Hello. Farmer Jack, Mitz a lot, Ray, the Fameless. Good evening. Thanks for tuning in. We've got some viewers probably on X as well. Yeah, it looks like about 46 viewers overall. So that's awesome. Thanks for tuning in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of all these things. Don't need those. All I need is my v0.dev chat. So I just kind of softly named this bump and grind coin. So I'm just going to start prompting, and I had this idea for, I don't know if it'll actually work or not, but I'm going to start prompting. I had this idea for potentially a app that would allow for musicians to share their Spotify link and reward people who listen to them in grind. That's the basic concept of the idea. So, all right, let's go. I want to build a app for musicians and bands to reward people who listen to their Spotify songs. All right, so that's the basic premise of the app. I'm not even people recommend using Chat GPT or Claude. I just kind of like to go YOLO mode and just kind of just see what happens. Just whatever it creates. Um, all right, so the let's see, the app would use abstract wallet to connect and grind token for creating a rewards pool and rewards for listeners. All right, so the band user, yes, the musician user can create a rewards pool. There's a form for a Spotify link and a total number of grind tokens for the pool and set the number of tokens of reward per user that can claim per listen. One claim per listener. All right. Listener. The listener can log in and listen to songs and claim rewards and grind from the pool after completing the listen. Let's see what else. YOLO mode is the way to go. I know no other way. Yeah, I know. And this is super simple. I'm just trying to think of like all the potential mechanics that I'll need. All right, so the musician user and the listener user. We got two different types of users here. So they can create a rewards pool in grind token. There's a form for a Spotify link and total number of grind tokens for the pool, and then set a number of tokens of reward per user. Number of grind. I'm just going to put that in there a couple times. Per listen, we need to validate that the user listened to it and provide a claim button after listen is complete. Yep. Okay. And then let's see. All pools and claims will be done on chain. Abstract testnet to start. I can provide the grind token contract address. So I actually had set up my own grind token. So I'm going to go and grab that. I'm going to go to the Explorer. And this is the grind token that I set up. I actually deployed that without the handy dandy token deployer that Scotty created. And I used Vue0 to help me with the contract, and then deployed it in Cursor. Let's see, that's the testnet Explorer. I'm just curious. I'm gonna go to the docs for the abstract global wallet, and what I'll do is I'll use the native integration. So I'll just say Take all this information here and throw that in there. Teach it what to do. All right, so integrate. That's all right. We got that going. All right. I will need a smart contract that serves as an escrow for the musician to deposit X number of grind into the pool, and for the listener to claim their portion of the reward from the pool. We can build that later. Okay. All right, so let's see. I think that's pretty good. I think let's just see what we get from that. Oh, what's on your hat? I don't know if you can see it pretty well, but it is it's a shredding sassy hat. It's purple corduroy with reminded me of like the Charlotte Hornets. All right, let's see what happens here. I'm just gonna go YOLO, send it off, and see what it builds for us. It's calling it Musician Rewards app. All right, that's fine. It's close enough. All right, so now it's getting me writing all the code. Looks like it's going pretty good. Very cute, no homo. Yeah, no, it's a cool hat. I mean, it's actually pretty quality. It's cut and sew. It's not like I think they got a like an independent provider, because the actual like embroidery on this is solid. It's some of the best I've seen on a NFT hat, to be honest. I need to get with Shred and Sassy and try to get some bearish stuff going, because what they're doing with their hats and their pins is pretty solid. A little pricey, but it's pricey for quality. All right. This could be, I don't know. This could be good. This could be bad. We'll see. So this is probably what, 10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes of actual prompting. We'll see what we get. In the meantime, I'll check my Bitcoin. I've almost got one Bitcoin. All right. Actually, not too bad. I'm actually mining like 20 per day. It used to be a little bit higher, but it keeps going down every day. So I don't know. I probably need to upgrade my miners. Yeah, I would love a hat like that. Shape looks good too. Yeah, I mean it came all pre-shaped like this. And apparently you can tap on it, and there's some NFC blockchain in. I haven't done it yet. There's something there. I got to look at it. Yeah, and if anybody has anything that they're building that they want to share, just feel free to let me know in the chat. This is going to be really interesting. All right, so it's creating the pool form. It's creating a pool list. Let's see. Bump and grind, musician dashboard, song cards. That's cool. That's good. Reward pool. Throwing some WAGMI in the mix, which is good. Gonna need that. Listen and earn. Search for songs or artists. All right. No songs found. That's because we don't have a pool set up yet. But it's putting in like the error messaging and stuff like that. Yeah. Get some use states. I'll probably need to integrate in the real app. We would call a smart contract to claim the reward. For now, I'll just create a mock claim. Yeah, that's fine. I might also want to add in, if I were actually to deploy this, to have like a fallback database, just to essentially kind of have another record of like what pools were created, maybe the musician's wallet address, maybe the listener's wallet address, and see what. Oh man, this looks great. Look at this. Connect your Spotify tracks, create rewards, give back to your fans, listen to your music. All right, so this is in the little preview section here. I'm gonna actually pop it out into the big view. Oh man, actually, this looks pretty solid. All right, so for musicians, you create reward pools for your Spotify tracks and allocate grind tokens to reward your listeners. You can listen, validate your listen, and claim rewards. For musicians, create a reward pool. For listeners, connect your wallet and listen, browse for songs. Built on abstract testnet with the grind token. Yeah, I mean this is pretty solid. All right, so let's look at these pages. For musicians, for listeners, it kind of gives it different context. Let's see if the Wallet Connect works. You can't see it, but the privy screen did pop up. Brought me to a rewards dashboard. All right. Oh, I can create a pool. Let's see. This is wild. All right, I'm gonna go into my notes section because I just grabbed a Spotify link. All right, I'm gonna do 1,000 grinds, 5 grind per listener. Create the rewards pool. Oh, maybe it already did. Probably need a message that says that it was created. So let's go back. My rewards pool. Just did a sample. Just a sample. All right, so it's not reading the song, but let's go back to the main page. Let's go back here. Pop that out. All right, so it disconnects. For listeners. Okay. So while it looks great, the UI, and there's this musician dashboard to create pools, it doesn't seem like we have anything yet for listeners, which is fine. So then we'll have to kind of build something for that. Let's see. Go to the browse song section. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the chat. Let's see. I want to connect here too, because sometimes you get error messages when you use the kind of preview area. So if I create a new pool, put in, yeah, it didn't really do anything there. 4.96. All right. So I'm going to go and do an update here. So UI looks great. There's a nice dashboard for musicians, but nothing for listeners to see created pools. The pools, let's see. Create new pool is not pulling in the song information. This will probably need a UI, but we'll see. Or an AI, an API. I'm in AI right now. This is UI. I might need an API fee from Spotify to actually make this work, but we'll see what it'll do and try to get us to do. It's not pulling in the song information, and we're creating a song card for listeners. The song card should have an embedded player of the Spotify track. I think Spotify API, or let's see, embedded player code. Let's see, getting started. I like to just look at things here to see what's available. Always go to, if you're looking at another company, look at their documents for developers, and maybe you can find some stuff that you can copy and paste directly. Get the HTML code directly from your Spot.te client and embedding. Like they even got spelling errors on their own site. This is a major corporation, and they can't even spell their own name right. No offense, Spotify. You can use an iframe API. That may or may not work. Yeah, so this one, let's see what this looks like. We'll try this. We're gonna take this here, and I'm gonna feed that to the AI as well. See what it does with that. Cool. All right. This is crazy. Yeah, I know. It's fun, right? I mean, obviously, like it's not going to be perfect. It's gonna, you know, but in terms of like the UI, oh, it's already starting to look at that. It's gonna go use embed URLs, and create what I asked for, hopefully. But I mean, you'll definitely have to check the code. The one thing I do like about it just gives you like that preview without having to set up a local environment. It gives you that pop out so you can actually test it in a browser. You can actually share this link with someone you're working with so that if they wanted to, test it for you, or if you want to send it to yourself to test on a mobile device, this is basically a soft deploy essentially. And you could share it. There's also the ability to download your code into a command setting, so you can use shad in like cursor or something, or you can actually download zip of all your code or throw it into your GitHub. But a lot of this stuff usually will need some cleaning by a dev, especially if you're using any blockchain stuff. You're going to want to have your smart contract before you deploy to mainnet looked over by a dev. If you're building anything in Cursor or V0, and also just for security purposes, having it audited, make sure there's no vulnerabilities. It's probably a good idea to have your your apps and your games looked over too, just to make sure you're not exposing your environmental variables or something like that in your code. So, but at least this is like a good way to show off your ideas, right? And have some fun. All right. So let's see. All right. I got one big coin. Got one big coin. So I'm gonna get rid of that because so every time you deploy, it creates a new version. So this is version 2. I can always go back to a previous version. I can go back to a previous version and fork it. So that's always helpful. Like if I run into, well, I've just kind of destroyed it to the point of no return, I'll go back to the last working version and fork it. I did that with my voting protocol because I deployed an update to it and it just redid all the UI, and I was like, I don't like that. I want to go back. So that sometimes can happen, but you can always revert back to a previous version, or you can fork it, which just creates essentially a new chat, a new version, a new starting point from where you left off. What are these other functions here? You can rename things. You can add things to your favorite. You can share this chat with other folks so that they can see your prompting. That's kind of what Scotty did here, but he also made it clonable so that you can clone this into your projects. All right, let's see what we got. All right. Looks good. Looks good. Let's connect. I'm going to approve. All right, I'm going to create a new pool and see what happens with the Spotify link now that I fed it some more information. Ooh, there's a validate button. Okay, let's validate it. All right. Unknown artist, but it has some information. When's submission deadline for grind? I feel inspired. Sunday night. All right, so that's submitted. I still need to add like a confirmation pop up or something like that. All right, so here we go. We've got the musician dashboard. We've got didn't bring in the artist name, which is fine, but it has the artist here, so we can do that, and it has a preview. All right, so listen to full track. You gotta go to Spotify. So this idea might not work in theory, but I just wanted to just mess around with like Spotify and music and stuff like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect, and then I'm gonna go to listeners and see if there is So there's a browse song section. But if I connect, it's probably gonna show me that. So all right. So we probably need a dashboard for listeners. Or what also might be helpful is after we connect, are you a listener or are you a musician? Okay. Okay, we need a dashboard for listeners as well, where they can view created song pools and listen and claim rewards. In order to direct the user to the appropriate dashboard, we should provide a UI pop-up or a pop-up to allow the user to select if they are a musician or a listener. We also need a confirmation message when the song pool is created and confirmed. All right, we'll let that go. See what that does with that. So I gave it some more details. I probably should have added one more thing to that, but that's okay. I'll let it do its thing. See what it does. It'll probably create a dialog for role selector. Yep, there is role selection. Basically, am I a musician? Am I a listener? I think one of the things I will need to do with that is have a database to store that information. Right now, it's going to probably just store it to local browser, which means that as long as I'm signed in and I'm messing around with it, it'll be fine. But as soon as I log out, it's gonna it'll be like starting over again. So you need a database to kind of store data. I usually use Supabase. It's relatively. I mean, you can do a lot of stuff on the free account. If you're doing any kind of more complex stuff, you'll probably have to upgrade to maybe a team account. But yeah, so that databases are important for, and you can use AWS as well. It's important for essentially having persistent data across user sessions. So as long as somebody's logged in, they'll see the same data that everyone else will see. When your musician's logging in, they'll be able to see, listener counts and things like that, so that they can kind of have, real time updates. So you do need that stuff in the background. But for me, I'm just kind of focusing on the UI stuff. I can always add that stuff in later. But I just wanted to see what we can build with an idea and a couple of copy and paste things from development docs. So pretty cool. We got 108 watchers, probably mostly on I'm guessing mostly on the Twitter, on the X. So very cool what we built in 20 minutes. Not bad. It's going to be a little bit more hopefully a little bit more user-friendly, and maybe we'll be able to see a listener page. But I like the UI. I think the UI is pretty clean on the front end. Made all the nice cards and everything. Definitely looks like in the world of what a music app might look like, which I think is really cool. All right. How are we doing? I'm gonna go check in on Discord, see what's going on there. This is going. And let's see. Maybe I'll play some music. I'll play some music. Like, all right, so we're back with our app here. Let's see what happens. We're gonna connect our wallet again. You cannot see my secret privy. Oh, am I a musician or am I a listener? I'm actually gonna choose that I'm a listener. Oh, there's no songs found. Okay, nope. But it's got a new dashboard. I'm gonna pop this out so I can see it in a large screen. Also, probably need to do some improvements on mobile. We'll see. But here we go. So I'm going to connect first as a musician and see if that. All right. So I'm going to create a pool, and I'm going to try another Spotify track and see how that one does. We'll do this one. So I'm just copying the song link essentially. Pop that in there. Validate it. Oh, okay. Still not picking up the artist, but that's fine. We'll do 1,000 grind. We'll do 5 per listen. And we will create the world. Okay. All right. So my reward pool has been created. I asked for a pop-up message to say, give me a confirmation. And this is what it created for me, which I think is great. It also has a share button here. So I'm going to click on that. Doesn't do anything yet, but that's okay. We can do something with that later. I think one of the things we'll probably run into here. Oh, never mind. Look at this. Smart enough to create a toggle for me. Now I can switch to listener. Now I see the listener dashboard. I was afraid that I might have to sign out and it would refresh the session. But look at this. I can listen and earn. So, all right, what does that do? It's verifying that I'm listening to the song. So 3 minutes. Hey, it verified I listened to like 30 seconds of the song. So you know what? I need to play my grind now, and my reward's been claimed. That is actually pretty impressive. I think that's pretty great. I know that I'm gonna have to do persistent data on this, but this is great. And then I can see my claims. I claimed 5 grind for listening to that one song. Pretty cool. So I'm gonna go back to musician, and I'm just gonna kind of create some more pools, see what happens. So I'm gonna go through and just grab some songs. But this is actually kind of what I was envisioning. Just with what was that, three or four prompts, I was able to create what I was envisioning, which is awesome. So let's go ahead and create this reward pool. Close it. Let's see. Just grab another song. Copy song link. So the one thing I will say that I would want to fix is like the unknown artist part. I think that would be something that could be fixed through a prompt. So these are my reward pools. as a musician. And then if I look at it as a listener, I can go in here and see. I can also do it. There's probably a search here. So let's see if the search works. Yep, the search works. So let's listen and earn to this one. Oh, bumping grind. Yeah, you're right about that. I like it. Reward is claimed. I think actually utilizing SoundCloud might be a good idea, just because there's a lot of new artists that use SoundCloud. So you could probably add in a SoundCloud integration. Um, I do like that it has like the listeners rewarded count and things like that. Um, and I think the again, like I said, the UI, the basic UI that's here is actually pretty solid. So I'm happy with that. Let's see what happens if I go back to the main page. All right. So I'm logged in. When you're logged in, it's always going to bring you to the dashboard, which is that's all right. Um, I would probably update this a little bit. I would probably, well, maybe add some more content, maybe some images from the actual, the creation, and then also for the listener having an example of what that looks like. You can update that. But it looks like the browse songs and the reward pool probably need to hyperlink those to the dashboard and to the one for the listener. Um, but maybe it doesn't let you do that unless you're logged in. So you have to connect first. Not a big deal, but yeah. So okay, that is what was that? 40 minutes? Not too bad. 40 minutes. Created a listen to earn site. I like it. I like it. I like it. All right. So what was I going to say? There's one thing on the validate. Okay. On the song validate preview, it's showing the artist name. It's showing the song name, but not the artist name. Can we can we surface that instead of unknown artist? Yeah. Okay. Let's see what happens. This is going to be version. Yeah. So that was 3 prompts. We got to that in 3 prompts. Pretty solid. This is going to be version number 4. So this is my 4th prompt. This is something I've been actually talking about for a while. I had this idea for a while. I just didn't know if it was possible, and I've kind of put it on the back burner. But let's see. I thought it would be fun to just kind of mess around with the idea tonight. I think I talked to Scotty about this actually. I was like, it'd be really cool. I'm a musician first. It'd be really cool to create. No, still didn't update. So what I can do, fix the issue, update the song player component. Let's just see what it did, just to make sure it didn't mess anything up here. Switch to listener. Okay. What I'm going to do here now is I'm going to connect inside here as a musician. As you can see, like this is what I mean about persistent data. I was in this one browser window. I had a pool created. I go in here. It doesn't have one. There needs to be a database to back that up. So I'm going to see if I can actually. This is a selector tool, and I can actually highlight what it is I'm talking about. That's really helpful if like you've got to a point where, all right, I said what I wanted to say, but the AI bot doesn't understand where I'm talking about. Then you can use that selector, actually highlight the area of where the problem is or where the change needs to be made. And then you can, put in a prompt right there and sends it right into the chat. So I just reuse the same prompt, but we'll see what happens. Need to grab a song link again. Copy song link. Already. Connect. Approve. I'm a musician. I'm going to create a new pool, drop it in, validate. By Spotify artist. Okay. All right. I mean, that's close enough. It's not unknown artist anymore. It's Spotify artist. All right. Let's see what happens on the other side. That's so weird. Okay. Switch to listener. Yeah. So it has unknown artist here. Preview is okay. But if I listen to earn, yeah, see, it's unknown artist here too. Okay. Was it like that before? I'm gonna have to go back and watch this. Maybe I might have messed it up. If I did, that's fine. All right, so I will need to go back, and I'm going to go to the validate page again. And I'm going to select this area. All right. Threw a little bit more at it, asking it to query the embed to see what it does. I mean, Spotify artist isn't wrong. I mean, that's what I was saying. It's like these days by a Spotify artist. I mean, yes, it's a artist on Spotify. Technically, you're not wrong, but it would be nice to show the band, the musician name, right? Because the musician would be like, I'm more than just a Spotify artist. I'm a person too. GMGM LL Cub King. So we just built this bump and grind app. It basically rewards listeners in grind for listening to songs that musicians might create pools for. So the musician would actually have to buy the grind or get the grind from somewhere, right, to create the pool to have people to listen to their songs, and then they can reward listeners for listening to their songs. That's the basic concept. Yeah, I went back to unknown artist. It might be that the particular embed UI that I'm using does not surface the artist, which is probably part of the problem. But I can always go back in and try to find other ways to get there. Maybe I might have to, utilize one of their other APIs. But it's nice to have the it even gives a nice little ad for those previews. Go back to my claims, claimed 5, grind. I feel like I messed something up. I feel like the other song was working, but maybe I didn't read it fast enough. Possible. Yeah. Very cool. Thank you. AI. I always like to thank my AI chat just to say, hey, thank you for building that for me. Now I've got to go back in and try to find ways to improve this. So one of those would be to add in a database. I don't know if I want to do that right now. The other part is I still need to build out an escrow contract. But let's let me go back to my first prompt. I'm going to save that because I'll need that. But here, you know what? Just as an example, let's see what happens when I ask it for a database, so that you can kind of see that flow as well. I might not set it up entirely, but I'll kind of show you what I do. Okay, things are looking good. We may need to set up a database for persistent data across user login sessions to save user profile data, pool data, and listener information, listens, and anything else. All right, so let's see what it tells me what I need to do. Sometimes I'll ask to say, hey, can you give me a database? Like I want to set it up on Supabase, so give me that information. So you're absolutely right. Setting up a database is essential for persistent data storage across user sessions. Currently, the application uses in-memory arrays for pools and claims, which are lost when the server restarts. Thank you. So database recommendations for bump and grind. You could use Upstash for Redis, Neon, which is a serverless Postgres, a Supabase, which is a Postgres backend, which I use a lot. You can also just use blob storage. So let's just see what happens when I click create. Max of 1 blob. All right, so I already have a blob set up for something else. Let's see. I've never used Neon before. Let's see what that does. So it takes me to create a Neon account. Might as well choose my region. Okay. There's a free plan here, maximum 10 projects. All right, let's just try the free plan. Database name. I'm going to call this Grindy. All right. Processing. Been created successfully. All right, so now it's thinking. I don't know what it's thinking about, but it seems to be thinking. Now that the Neon database integration has been all right, so I created the necessary database tables for bump and grind application using the Neon Postgres SQL. Let's set up this schema for storing user profile for reward pools and claims. I don't know if I can run code here, but I'm going to try it. Sometimes I'll go into like the other app like Supabase and run it in their SQL editor. Interesting. Integrating Neon database with bump and grind. All right, so it's actually doing a lot of that stuff for me, I guess, apparently, because it's connected through my Versal account. It's connected to V0. It's set up through Versal, the Neon account. So maybe it's just ran it. The one thing I could do is I can go to probably Neon and log in and see the tables. But usually, again, like I said, I use Supabase for some of the projects that I've built so far, and I'll go to Supabase to run whatever code it tells me by just copying it and going into the SQL editor, and just so that I can verify that tables were created and do any troubleshooting there. But let's see. Set it integrated. We'll see. Import music and headphones. Chevron. Insert into users address conflict. Do nothing. Wallet address. Probably it's creating a test user. Test pools. It's actually creating some test pools right now with like Rick Astley. So it's totally Rick rolling me right now, which I think is hilarious. So when this loads up, there will be some like test pools, and one of them will be Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up. So that is that's hilarious. All right. We're gonna check this out. I'm gonna actually pop it out into the big view so I can see it in the big view. Uh-oh. No database connection string to provided. Perhaps an environmental variable has not been set. It's a runtime error. I'm going to copy that just for later. I'm going to see what it does in the little soft preview here. I'm going to go as I'm a listener. All right, so this function can only be called. So I'll fix that with v0. But I want to see the musician view. I'm going to try to create a poll and see what happens. This is going to give you interesting, some interesting data probably to go off of. And what I need to fix next. All right. We're already on version 7. It's not looking good. Yeah, so it might not be set up. Okay. Alrighty. Let's see. Yep. Okay. So database query error, this function cannot be called. Let me send that into the chat. So whenever you get an error message in here, you can just kind of click and send it right to the chat. The chat will then take a look at the error and provide some suggestions. Oh, all right. So this is how we're using the Neon SQL client. The issue is now we're calling the SQL function. We need to use either tagged template literals or the SQL query method. So you're learning along the way. You know, it's like, okay, well, now next time I know that this is related to my SQL. My SQL has some errors in it in the functions and the calls. I need to use a better query method. That's what happens. I'm learning stuff all the time. I learned about Supabase through this. I'm now learning about Neon. I haven't used Neon yet, so just vibing. I probably should look at Neon just to make sure that that it was set up properly. So we go to Neon Versal Bump and Grind project. Cancel. Manage. Is it my storage? Grindy. So I got a Supabase one there. So I'm gonna look at this. No active deployments. All right, integrations. All right, I'll have to mess around with this, I think. Settings, payment method, I don't have one. I'm trying to use the free account, bro. Okay. I'll have to mess around with that later. But let's see what happened here. We're back. I'm a musician. Cannot read. Undefined. Did it create a poll? It did not. We're going to send that error back in. Like I said, I broke it. Is this pushing to your Git, or do you have to do that manually? So this is not pushing up to Git. So this is basically, it's my own little local environment online, essentially. So it's an online local environment. This is kind of my local environment. I can pop it out into a browser window, which is kind of like just think of it as kind of like a soft deployment. Now I could deploy it directly here from to Versal, and it'll be hosted on Versal. I can also download the code and store it in or upload it into a GitHub repository. There's some additional integrations. Like you can create an integration with Grok and some of those databases that I mentioned earlier. I believe if you set up your account when you first sign up for v0.dev, you can connect it to GitHub, and it might actually just kind of go and create that repository for you when you connect it and deploy it to GitHub. Yeah, I'm in V0 right now, v0.dev. This is kind of where I start with a lot of my projects. I'll start in V0, just kind of chatting through ideas and trying to get like a working proof of concept. And then if I need to move into Cursor with like some of the blockchain stuff, I can do that and then bring it back. I'm a musician, create a new pool, validate. Okay, it looks like we're not getting any errors. Hopefully, there we go. There is, look at that. Pool created. My reward pools looks good. Listener can see it. Let's see what happens when we pop it out. Yep, so we got a runtime error there. So it's working here. Let's see what happens when we disconnect and connect again. All right, so we've got some persistent data now. We got some persistent data. Let's switch to musician. Great. I can see my remaining grind left in my pool. I can create a new pool, but I have the persistent data of the original pool that I set up before I disconnected the session. Let's try a refresh. Yeah, sometimes you kind of hit your capacity for stuff. So yeah, looks like I've got my persistent data going. So now one thing I did notice that when I went out here, I'm going to copy this and throw that in the chat. I need to learn how to move into Cursor from V0. That's where I get stuck. So one thing you can do is you can, if you take this right here, copy this code base, you can actually run this command in Cursor. And that will basically pull all your code into Cursor, and you can try to go from there. I would recommend setting up a new directory in Cursor, so you're not doing it on a project that you might have in the works. So set up a new directory, set up a new project. You can run this, and then it should pull in the code from your V0. So download button, download code, copy the npx shad command. Alrighty, moment of truth. Moment of truth. Yay! All right, in our big view, we've got it. So let's connect. Now, technically, if I connect, I should see if we have persistent data. Uh-oh. Maybe because it's a new version. Oops. We'll see. We'll see. It should have been persistent. It doesn't seem like it is. Now we're going to get into the weeds here a little bit. We're going to validate this song, put in 1,000 grind, 5 per listener, create the reward pool. Uh-oh. It's not creating my reward pool, baby. See if we're getting any errors in here. We've got persistent data in here. So there's a disconnect here. Ah. Let's see. Sometimes it's just a lot of like trying to figure things out, a lot of analytical thinking of like what's broken, and then trying to find ways to fix it. See, it's validating in here. It's creating the pool in here. Let me close this. I might have too many of those open. I don't need that or that right now. Okay. Yeah. Disconnecting, how it works. That menu button's not working. Those should just jump to parts of the page. So like that should jump to here. The musician part should jump to there. The listener's part should jump to there. It's basically not doing that. And learn more has nothing. So learn more probably would take you to how it works, but probably don't need that button unless I set up a separate page that had more information on maybe like on grind and how to get grind and things like that. But yeah. All right, so what I'm going to do is go to this portion. I'm going to copy this link. And this is called open a new tab. All right. When I open a new tab, there is no persistent data from the preview section. We'll send that in there. Hey, Plotty Mama, Gib Grind. Are you going to the summit for something for the current sprint? Are you going to submit something for the current sprint? Plotty, are you going to submit something? Instead of forking, you can just create a new project and then drop it in the chat. Instead of forking. You could start a new project instead of forking. But if you have a last working version, probably better to go back to that version and fork it and start from there. So if this got to the point where it was like just unsalvageable, I would go back to say like version 10, fork it, and start over from there. Starting over from ground zero might be a little tough. I think if you downloaded the code and create a new project and try to upload it, it may or may not give you that. But if you're trying to go from V0 to say Cursor or VS Code, you can actually just use this command and try to run that or download the zip. All right, I'm gonna pop this out. See what happens now. I'm a musician. Yeah, so I don't think. What did it say did it do? Understanding data persistence issues in the preview environment. When you're experiencing issues with data not persisting between tabs and preview, there's important factors to consider. Local storage limitation, database connection in preview. Environmental barriers might not be set properly in preview context. It's not the preview that I'm having persistence with. Added debug tools. All right. Let me see. Where's your debug tools that you added, sir? I don't see them, sir. I don't see them, sir. All right, let's see what happens. I'm going to validate, create, oops. Yeah, that's not a Spotify link, dummy. All right. Need a Spotify link, sir. That's a Spotify link. There we go. Yeah, there's something funky. It's not saving on the create pool here, only in here. And we have our persistent data in here, but not out there. So that might give me an indicator that if I deploy this, I'm probably going to have some issues with it. So there might be something in the code that I need to look at that will fix that. But again, I can validate in here. I can create the new pool. Gives me the confirmation. Close it. Can share it. as a listener. I don't like all these zeros. It's way too many zeros. I would probably fix that. I would say don't display all the zeros until like grind is at like a $1 billion market cap. Then you might need those extra zeros because you'd be doing my reward will be 0.169 probably per listen. We'll see. Missed the first week and have a long way to catch up. Yeah. There's a lot of the videos are on so now I can claim my grind. Yeah. All right. That's the basic concept. So like proof of concept, I think that's what it is. I can discover songs. I can see my claims. Like that's the persistent data that I'm looking for. I just need to find out why I'm having in my little test environment here working well. But when I look in my main browser preview, no persistence of data. No persistent data. You want your data to be persistent across user and browser sessions. It's the most crucial thing if you're going to set up any kind of databases. So I've got to go back into that and fix that. All right. Any questions? Any other questions from the chat? Otherwise, I kind of built something in 45, 50 minutes. The initial build happened in, probably 15, 20. And then I kind of started adding things to it, as you can tell. But for me, like the next thing I need to go in, I need to make sure that the database is set up properly. I might have to pull in some, maybe some API keys or, potentially like user information or a URL or something like that and add it to my environmental variables, which are kind of like private data for storing keys that you don't want the public to see and potentially exploit them to use them for their own good. I also want to I'm going to ask it to build me an escrow contract, which I can probably do now. Let's see. I think I put something in here. So all pools will be on chain. I will need a smart contract. All right. So one thing here, let's go to the developer or docs. Docs.abs. Okay. So one thing to know about smart contracts on Abstract, they use you can utilize Hardhat for a lot of that. But the one thing that you do need to keep in mind is that they use ZK Sync CLI. So you basically have to use ZK Stack as well as Hardhat. So what I'll do here is I'm going to say, all right, I need a smart contract. Can you write me a smart contract that serves as an escrow for the musician to deposit X number of grind into the pool and for the listener to claim their portion from the pool. Pool creation and reward distribution should be handled on chain by the contract. Let's see. This contract will be deployed on Abstract testnet using Hardhat and ZK Sync. And let's see, what else I need to tell it. I would probably take all this stuff here. Take all this stuff here from this page. And I'm just going to feed it information. Just as reference points. And I would say just as reference points. And the other thing I'll want to give it is go into the bridges, we got blockchain explorers, deployed contracts. It's pretty good to know. Pretty good to know. Getting started. What is abstract? All right, connect to abstract. All right, so probably I want to give it this information, right? Abstract testnet chain ID. And I'd put that in. So abstract testnet chain ID equals that. And we'll get rid of this for now. RPC URL. I would copy all of this here, but this page doesn't allow me to copy just one column there, unfortunately. So this is the Explorer. And you could use this one. This one was out of date when I was doing some stuff on it, and this is the verify URI. There's another Explorer as well. Okay. Let's see what it does. All right, since we're amateurs and everything has to be tested and examined for our safety, probably fixed a lot. It's all good that our app is all in test mode and uses mock data. Yeah, absolutely. You don't even have to deploy any contracts or you don't have to deploy any contracts or even integrate the token. If you have ideas for that you would want to be added to it, what you can then say is, in your project description, say, we would want to integrate Grindcoin to be used in this such and such way, right? Just kind of giving a detailed description of how you envision the Grindcoin to be utilized within your app or game, and just put that in your project description, and everything else can be mock data, right? If you want to add the abstract global wallet connect, just as if you need that because you're going to have a coin or the grind token interaction, you would want that. Yeah, so it's got my grind token address and my deployed contract address for the library services. Okay, but yeah, you don't have to. All right. Yeah. And also, it doesn't have to have any kind of blockchain integration at all. It can just be a fun game or app that, utilizes the IP, the running hamster or making coffee or WenSwap or whatever the case may be. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to have blockchain. It could just be an IP fun gameplay, right? That also helps in terms of like awareness of a brand, right? Brand identity through gameplay, I think, is also something worth noting. So right now it's writing me this contract. Did it finish it? Okay. So it wrote me this contract. We'll need to integrate. Let's see. Let's go all the way back up. All right. So, okay. See what it says. Compile. Yes. Prerequisites. Create a new contract. All right. So the grind token escrow smart contract. I created a smart contract that handles escrow functionality for bump and grind. So here's the contract. It's a, grind escrow.sol. So I can kind of preview all of that here. What it does, it's got the token approval for transfer into the pool, creates the pool, pulls in some of the information about the Spotify link and song title and artist name. Apparently that will find a way to get there somehow. And then it creates a deployment script for your contract. so that gives you the steps to deploy it in Cursor, right? So and then it says integration with the front end. To integrate the smart contract with your front end, which is the app or game that I built, I have to update the front end to interact with the smart contract, right? Create a service to handle that contact interactions. And so here's an example of the contract service. Now, if I look at that, I think I can click on that. Yeah, we'll see. All right. So the contract features, pool creation. Musicians can create reward pools by depositing grind tokens. Each pool has a unique ID, Spotify link, song details, and reward amount. Reward claiming. Listeners can claim rewards from the pools. Each listener can claim once per pool, and claims are tracked on chain. Fund management. So musicians can withdraw remaining funds from their pool. Maybe they don't get enough listens. They want their grind back. That's pretty smart. I didn't even mention that, but that's like, okay, fund management. That makes sense. Contract tracks remaining amounts and claimed counts. View functions. So this is probably for the website and also for the admin. View functions within the smart contract to get all the pools, get pools created by a specific musician, check if a listener has claimed from a pool. Security features, reentrancy protection. All right. Access control for pool management for probably the deployer address and input validation. So here's your deployment instructions. You install these dependencies. So basically you can just kind of copy these and into Cursor and paste them and run them. Set up your env file. This is important. If you are going to deploy a contract on testnet, you'll want to set up a brand new wallet. The reason for that is you're going to need to export the private key from your like this wallet and use it within the deployment of the contract, right? If you're using Cursor, for example. So what you would do is you would add your private key to a .env file, which is your environmental variable within Cursor. And it basically you will use that wallet to do the deployment. So it will have to be funded with abstract ETH. It would have to so that's why I recommend if you are going to deploy something like just as a test or have fun with, set up a new wallet, put a little bit of abstract testnet ETH in it, and then get your private key to utilize that for the .env file. Once you do that, you got to compile the contract. The contract compiler. So this one, it might be missing some stuff like ZK sync. So there is a YouTube video that the abstract team did early on, maybe back in September, that actually walks through contract deployment as well on testnet. So I can share that if anyone's interested in looking at that. I'll probably add it to maybe the YouTube video that I do for this, so you can watch that as well, because it has a good walkthrough too. And then you would deploy the contract by running the script. So, and then my fifth step, I'd have to update the front end. So I'd have to come back into this chat and say, hey, here's my contract address for my escrow contract that I just deployed. Can you now implement it into the app that we built? So that's what I did for the grind the vote. But in addition to just having a contract for voting protocol, I actually had them create a mock grind token for me as well. So I actually deployed the mock coin that I created, the voting protocol, which I wanted it to be upgradable. So it was an upgradable contract with a proxy and an admin contract as well. So like there was it was more complex. This one should be pretty straightforward, as long as everything is good and secure. So I might actually tonight deploy this. I don't want to do it on this stream because I'd have to expose some private key information. And it's not that I don't trust you. It's just I don't know who's going to watch this. All right. Yeah, I'll add that to the resources, Vanna. But yeah, this has been great. I think I don't want this to run too long, so I'm at an hour 22. I'm probably going to end here so that the YouTube video is not that long, and I can and hopefully people will watch it. Right. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Have a good night. Good luck with building. Set up your project on grind.bearish.af if you haven't already. get your team up there. You can approve them as well to join your team, and keep working on your apps, keep refining them. Regardless, if you feel like you're like, I just don't want to, I don't want to submit because I don't think I did a good job, or I'm not all the way there. Submit what you have, right? I recommend submitting what you have, because sometimes the idea will win out over, the implementation, right? If the idea is good enough, if, Pons likes it or somebody else likes it enough, that's all that you really need to do. Everything else can be improved, right? But the idea is king here, or queen. The idea is queen or king or whatever. And regal, the king. Yeah. All right. So the idea is regal, and and so just submit it anyways. And you never know what's going to happen. So, all right. I appreciate you all. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to play some music and I'm going to get out of here. All right. Thanks, everybody. Y'all are awesome.
Motivated to do it, expose you like a nudist to a brand new level of energy. Get on down to it, connecting with the vibe when we see and I try.